Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's been, I don't know, probably a couple of years since my last drop, but tank is still alive and it's doing better than it ever has been. Got so many new corals in here, got lots of great fish. Lost a chorus wrasse the other day. He jumped out. Not sure how. I mean, you take a look. It's pretty sealed up, but he still jumped out. Probably through this hole over here, which is pretty crazy, but he had a death wish. Yeah, you know, lots of great looking stuff in here. Corals are just doing amazing. Been running really low phosphates and nitrates, you know, within a great target range. That was the biggest issue I had for years. You know, best guidance I got was bringing it down to trying to keep phosphates under 0.10. And everything else just kind of follows. And then when you get the nitrates up, you know, do a water change. So, which is what I'm doing right now. And why am I doing a water change? Well, it needs it. And, you know, I've got this 75-gallon, just simple, bare bones, basic tank that I picked up for half price, $150. Can't beat it. Over at Petco this past week. Why'd I do it? Well, it's because of this. Right here. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you can see that pretty good. So what's going on here? Well, the seal's failing. Yeah. Had this tank for just over 5 years now, and the seal's failing. You know, got this from Sean Connolly over at Aquarium King. If you guys haven't been to Fort Lauderdale for a long time into trade, probably don't know about it because he closed up shop a couple years ago. Yeah, that's what's going on. There's about a millimeter before it hits this guy right here. So got this from Sean. You know, he did a great job, I thought. You know, this should have been a bulletproof tank for at least 10 years, probably 20. You know, it's got double reinforced brackets over here on the sides and on the bottoms. And custom tank, custom problems, right? Well, you can have this happen with anybody, right? But usually when you buy a tank, you do a background check. You ask everybody, hey, am I gonna get this tank built by somebody reputable? Yeah. So I definitely did everything I could. Spoke to everybody I should have. Came well recommended. Well, he left. I don't know where he is. It's been years. Even when I had some little issues here and there, never answers his phone anymore. He closed up shop, and even little issues that I had, you know, which I won't go into. He's not around. So doesn't matter who you guys go with, you know, even if you think they're the most reputable people, even if they've got good vouching from other people that you know, they might not be around anymore in 5 years or whatnot. Spent a lot of money on this tank, saved up for years to get it. And, you know, I've been really happy with it. But you know, this is what happens. And this guy's nowhere to be found. It's really unfortunate, you know. So now I got to spend a few $1,000s to tear down the whole tank. Yeah, because you can't just go put a bracket here. You can't just go do that. That's like a quick fix that, you know, all the pressure is going to push out, and you're just going to end up putting a Band-Aid on for a little bit of time. So we got to take everything out this week. It's going to be freaking great. I'm really excited. You can hear it in my voice. All because somebody's poor craftsmanship failed on their seam. There's actually a slight failure on this side too, but it's not that bad. You know, the overflow box actually isn't sealed very well either, you know, but that I can live with. This I can't. So it's really unfortunate. So what's the plan? Well, thank God I wanted my little lagoon tank. And that runs as its own system on the same sump down here, which it's a little messy down there right now. But So that's actually going to be able to stay going, which is kind of cool. Really happy about that. I'm going to try and take as many corals as I can from here and put them in here, and hopefully everything goes well. Gonna have to take a bunch of the live rock out and put them in these cans. I've got about 4 of these 55s, and I think I've got 2, I don't know, I think I've got 2 35s or 40s or whatnot, and now I've got this guy. So I just picked up like a little protein skimmer, a little 65 gallon protein skimmer. That's a 75 gallon. You know, it'll be a little overrated. So I'm going to put some rocks in here. It's a nightmare. I'm not thrilled, but I wanted to share this with you guys because this can happen. You know, it doesn't matter whether you spend 10, 20, $1,000 on your tank, which I you all know how much this stuff costs, especially over time, right? So maybe you can spend $100,000. Not that I did, and it's still going to have issues, right? So keep your eyes out when you see stuff like this. Get ahead of it. I'm scared, I'm super nervous about this every single day. They're coming on Wednesday. It's Sunday right now. Doing a water change because I need it. And that way, the water that I've got, instead of taking everything over, so the gentlemen over at Aquatic Jewels, they're going to help out. They're going to do all the teardown with me this week. Really excited for their help. Got the owner involved. He's going to take care of it. So that part is good. We're trying to get ahead of it. And so basically we're going to try and put as much rock into the, a couple of these cans. I didn't want to bring all the corals, all the fish over to their shop. Nothing against them. It's just, trying to acclimate all this stuff to another water system. It's going to be, it's already going to be trauma bringing all the stuff out, right? So if I can use my own water and bait it when everything comes back in 5 days, once they take this plate off, right? Reseal it, let it seal for like 5 days. That's what I'm being told. And then put in, it's going to be like a big water change, right? And that's a lot better of a situation than cycling everything out. I'm going to keep the sand. I guess it's a good opportunity to get the sand all cleaned out, especially in some areas. But remember, guys, you want to have low flow areas, right? You want to have nitrifying bacteria that is in a low flow zone that doesn't get stirred up. So some of that, I'm probably going to go through a low ugly phase again, but I'm at least going to have the help of this system in here. Funny enough, I don't know if we can see him. You can probably see what he's done. Yeah, you can see these clumps of sand. My tiger sea cucumber is going crazy in here. I just moved him out of here this week. Kind of like a cow. Get a cucumber. If you got a smaller area, they say 20 gallons for every 3 inches. Well, he was 3 inches when he started. He's close to 9 now. So getting pretty big. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to be dropping more vids as we get progression this week. I want you guys to kind of see what you have to go through. If you guys have to go through it yourself, I don't want you guys to be, sideswiped by it, and have a little idea as to like what's going on, what you can do, how you can prep. I can't wait to have this little chapter over, looking forward to having more videos posted in the future too. And so, by the way, if you guys do your own water changes, I highly recommend check your water TDS as you're doing the water change. So what do I mean by that? Well, you might start out good with low TDS water, but then what happens when you've got 50 gallons in, right? So do yourself a favor, get a little cup. Do this when you start the water change, and then do it mid-change, and make sure that what you see is what you expect. Look at that, we're at 0.1. If you guys don't have this HM, you know, TDS meter, save up for it, get one. It's one of the most accurate ones out on the market. It does, you know, a half decimal or, you know, fractions of a full percentage. So 0.3, that's great. That's what we'd expect. Anything under 1.0, right? Even if you're at 1.0, that's, you know, still a target. So do that stuff, guys. Because guess what? You may get halfway through your water change and you've blown through your carbon block or you know, it depends on what kind of RO system you guys have, but you might blow through some of the filters midway through. Test it as you're doing it. That we set up for success. So anyways, I'm gonna do this water change today. I'm not gonna vacuum the sand, you know, just gonna do a quick one with, I've got my two pumps right here. If you don't have a setup like this, I highly recommend it. So this is pretty awesome. You get a Casa wireless, you know, circuit, you know, plug. And what you do is you just hook these two things up and then you put them straight in a tank. Dump it into another bucket, right? And then, I mean, you can be done in 10 minutes. It's amazing. You get two of them. Don't just go with one. Honestly, I do changes a little more now because it's so easy to do. It's fast. And then you don't have to get into your sand bed. In fact, you know, wild opinions as to if it's good to get in sand bed, not sand bed. I do it occasionally. I'll do one area. If I'm going to get into the sand bed, I will do one corner per water change. That way everything doesn't get shocked. Why? Less swings. You know, do you see any crazy algae in here? No. Following really good stuff. Follow the guys, you know, at, who's the guys in Orlando? I forgot. Worldwide Corals, which some of the corals in here you'll see from Worldwide Corals. Vic and the guys over there hooking it up always. Zoas, Worldwide Corals. You know, lots of great stuff from Worldwide Corals in here. So, but yeah, it's kind of scary. You know, thanks for watching. If you're still, you know, in the video, we'll see how this week goes together. All right. So stay tuned. See ya.